You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
Outdoor education. Did you participate? Sarah, did you ever do outdoor ed when you were a kid? Did you ever get to do
mean, we got to go to camp. I guess that counts.
That does count as outdoor ed. I didn't get to do outdoor ed as a kid, but I got to participate in outdoor education when I worked in outdoor ed and camps and things like that. And I'm so excited to share an outdoor ed opportunity with our listeners today. If you're in Northwest Indiana, we're going to share that with you in just a moment. Thank you, Concordia University, Wisconsin, for your support of the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us today is Bethany Andrews, Director of Engagement at Camp Lutherhaven in Albion, Indiana. It's in Northwest Indiana. Bethany, thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
Thanks for having me.
So for our listeners who might not be familiar with Camp Lutherhaven, give us a general idea of where Camp Lutherhaven is located before we get into outdoor ed today.
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes northwest of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Out in the country, we're located on Lake Muncie and surrounded by beautiful trees and farmland.
It is out in a beautiful part of God's country, as we call it. It's just a beautiful place. I had the opportunity to serve there on summer staff a couple of summers, and it's a beautiful place. And it's not just a summer thing. There are opportunities going on year-round at camp. Is that right?
That is correct.
So outdoor education. I saw this, I think, in your Facebook feed not too long ago. It popped up in my feed. Outdoor education for homeschool families. What is outdoor education at Camp Lutherhaven?
So at Lutherhaven, we aim to provide an experiential educational opportunities for children who come to camp. Typically, they're in the fall and the spring. A lot of the time schools will come out, so it'll either be a class or multiple classes from a school. Sometimes the whole school will bring all their students. And really, we just experience God's creation and learn about it while experiencing it. So
how is this a great season for outdoor education?
Well, anytime is a great season to be outdoors. And so right now, the fall is beautiful. And so we're watching seasons change here at camp. As we go from fall to winter, the leaves are falling right now. Squirrels are packing their nuts away in hidey holes. So it's always awesome to be out and to just see how nature works and changes as time goes on. And especially during this season with a global pandemic happening, it's great because we try to be outside as much as possible, which means it's easier to be apart from each other, but still be together. And we can take in the fresh air and sunshine.
So what are these opportunities for homeschool families? I'm looking at the rundown on your website and it looks super duper exciting.
Yeah. So we are offering monthly homeschool outdoor education days. It started in October and will run through May. And so it's the second Tuesday of every month, except May, where we're going to run it the first Tuesday because summer camp will hopefully be coming later that month. But we are on those days, families can bring their kids to camp. Parents can drop them off so parents don't stay. We open in the morning with a devotion, and then we jump into different lessons focused around a theme for every single month. We do 4 lessons a day with lunch either outside or inside once it gets too cold, but kids bring a picnic lunch and we just enjoy time together. So.
Do you have outdoor education for grown-ups too?
We will take grown-ups if they want to come in.
Yes.
Boy, so that sounds like just an opportunity to be outside. What a fantastic thing. This time of year, fewer bugs, great weather. So what do you learn in a day of homeschool outdoor education at Camp Lutherhaven?
Yeah, so our October lessons were focused on wilderness skills. So we did stuff like orienteering, and we made paracord bracelets and talked about the different uses of paracord in wilderness survival situations. And just we went on a nature hike around camp and talked about where animals live and get their water and their shelter and their food. and where we can do that too if we're out camping or doing something along those lines. But there's 4 lessons, like I said, and so we try to do a variety of different things, from games to hiking to canoeing to all the different camp fun things to do. So,
All right, you mentioned orienteering. For those who've not been to camp before or not participated in orienteering, what is orienteering?
Orienteering is using a map and a compass to find your way. And so it's a sport, but here at camp, we also teach it just as a skill to know how to read a compass and to use it to get from point A to point B. With the kids, we actually had them make, it was kind of like a race or an obstacle course to get from point A to point B. They figured out the number of steps and the degrees and all that. Then they gave it to their neighbor, and their neighbor had to figure it out based on their orienteering maps and stuff. So they got to test out their orienteering skills after they learned how to use a compass.
So what are some of the things that happen during the winter? Midwest winter can be a little rough sometimes. What are some of those things that you can encourage kids and families to still enjoy outside, even if it's cold?
Yeah, we're going to actually embrace winter this year and be outside in it. Hopefully we'll have some snow, so we'll get to look at snow and what snow is made up of and play in the snow as well. Take some time to sled or have a snowball fight. But really looking at Indiana in the winter, that's our December focus. And so looking at what animals do in the forest in the winter and how trees hibernate and different things like that. And so how does our world change when the seasons change, and how does that impact us as well as the world around us?
I hadn't really thought about like the local flora and fauna being different in various regions until I brought a students from Florida there for a sermon event, and realized that some of the animals, some of the critters are different in Florida than they are in Indiana. And the fact that we were swimming in a lake in Indiana was kind of frightening to some of them. Living in a part of the country where there are usually alligators in lakes, they were reluctant to get in the lake. But then I also realized that some of them had never seen chipmunks before.
Really?
I know, just not a lot of chipmunks in Florida.
Huh.
But there are a few chipmunks at camp, aren't there?
There are quite a few.
What are some of the animals that you might see tracks for? Some of the things that you might get to see in terms of nature that you might see at camp that maybe we wouldn't necessarily see in our urban or suburban lifestyle?
Some of our most common ones are your white-tailed deer and raccoons. So you'll see those sometimes in the city, but chipmunks, squirrels, and then a multitude of birds. We have a family of geese that has taken up residence at camp, and so we see them around camp quite often. Occasionally we'll get turkeys that come and hibernate or come live at camp for the winter, and different things like that. It's a pretty common Midwest area, so you're going to get a lot of your Midwest animals. We don't have anything cool like bears or moose or stuff like that, except in the dining hall. So
Bears and moose are only in the dining hall.
Yeah, we have a moose at camp, and he lives in the dining hall. So if you ever come to Lutherhaven, you can see the moose. We do have moose, which live on the lake too, so that's a fun one that you can see.
How do we find out more about outdoor education at Camp Lutherhaven, and how do we register? What are the things we need to know to sign up for this year's outdoor education?
Yeah, you can find out more at our website, which is www.lutherhaven.org. And you can register by emailing me. My information's on the website, but it's also just Bethany@lutherhaven.org. And I'll get you set up. The cost for it is $15 for the first child in the family, and then $10 for every child after that per session. So tried to keep it with families in mind, and are excited for all the students that are going to come this year. So.
What are some ways that families can use this to incorporate into their school day, since this is such a good opportunity for homeschool families? How can they use this as part of their education at home?
Yeah, our lessons really do have an educational focus. And so on the website, it gives you a rundown of the different themes we plan to cover throughout the year. But it can be a way for them to teach their kids something they might not have access to at home. So like orienteering, for example, not a lot of families have the ability to just be outside and use a compass, and you do, but not everybody knows how to do it. And so this is a way for kids to learn how to do those types of things that maybe parents don't know off the top of their heads. And every month is a little bit different. So like November, we're looking at the 5 senses. So we'll take a look at our fingerprints and different things like that. So there's something for everybody. Just depends on the day.
So with every month being different, you really could sign up for more than 1 month. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes. The idea is that families would sign up for almost all of them if they wanted to. In May, we will end with our classic camp activities, so archery and canoeing and that kind of thing. So those are things that you might not get to do at home, but we want to provide an opportunity for families to come out and be able to try those things out here.
Will there be, you mentioned outdoor survival skills. Will there be anything involving fire, like building a campfire or cooking over a fire?
Yes, absolutely. I definitely look forward to doing that. Fire building is one of our favorite things to teach at camp. So in a safe way. And so it's a fun one, and especially cooking over the fire.
Right. In a safe way. So we're not talking like big, like explosives, but you from an outdoor survival perspective, using resources that you find or that you have with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Very cool. Well, it sounds like a fantastic opportunity. Again, lutherhaven.org is the website, right?
Correct. Yes.
You can find out more, and we'll share the link directly to the outdoor education program for homeschool families as well, homeschool outdoor education programs. We'll share that link in the program notes today. Bethany, it's just been a delight sharing this time with you, and I wish we could just come to camp and have more time at camp, because that would be way more fun to do this from camp and do outdoor education. Yeah, see, Sarah's ready to take up archery again. So
yes, I'm on top of that. Absolutely.
Our guest today, Bethany Andrews, Director of Engagement, Camp Lutherhaven, Albion, Indiana. Check it out, lutherhaven.org. Thanks so much for being our guest today, Bethany.
Thank you.
You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.